Hello, my name is Jerome and welcome to my Kabolite station. Today I'm going to show you how to change the oil on my Kabolite 961 excavator. The insides of it is a little different from the Kabolite 336 in that this excavator has a screw underneath the excavator that I can unscrew in order to drain out all of the hydraulic fluid. So let me show you a picture of that. So right here is a picture of the screw that I'm going to unscrew in order to drain the fluid. So in order to get this process started, I first put on some latex gloves just to keep the chemicals from seeping into my skin. And I have a bowl that I'm going to place underneath in order to drain the fluid. The first step is for me to unscrew the screw. There we go. And when I take this screw out, the fluid's not going to flow out immediately. Let me stop. There's something I should do before that. Let's turn on the transmitter. Turn on the excavator. An important thing to do before draining all of the fluid out is to get the pistons pushed all the way in. That way, with the exception of the boom pistons, because it's going to be in my way when I try to do it. That way, when I have the pistons pushed all the way in and I drain the fluid is pushed down into the reservoir tank and I'm getting most of the fluid out of the excavator. That's as far as I can get him down. So now I'll continue to remove the screw from the bottom. And this is the screw. Let's see if you can see down in there. One thing I'm going to do is clean this bowl out because I like to see if there's any dirt or metal chunks coming out with the fluid. I know with the Kabolite 336 excavators, they came out a year ago. A lot of them had metal flakes inside of the fluid when people drained it out. So I always like to see and maybe even check with a magnet. Now that I had a screw out of the bottom, when I unscrew the cap where I insert fresh hydraulic fluid, once I pull this out, the vacuum will be lost, air will go into the top, and fluid comes out the bottom, as you can see. And I just let all of this drain out. The fluid here is not looking too bad because I changed it 2 weeks ago. And actually 2 weeks ago when I drained this fluid, that was the first YouTube video I was making. And once I completed it, I found out there was no sound in the video, so I couldn't use it. So I decided I'll just do it again in order to make this video. So now that all the fluid is out, I will pause while I put the screw back into the bottom of the excavator. Now that I have the screw back in the bottom of the excavator, I'm going to fill up the reservoir with hydraulic fluid. The fluid I bought is hydraulic fluid number 32. It can use 32 or 46. I did a lot of searching to try to find out what fluid to buy before I bought the excavator, and I couldn't find anything. So I bought 32, and when I received it, the instructions said 46. 32 just works better at colder temperatures. And it's so cold here now I can't even excavate because my dirt outside is frozen because the temperature is in the 20s. So can't use it anyway. But in order to get the fluid in the tiny hole of this reservoir, I had to purchase a syringe with a needle in order to get it in because none of my funnels would work. It would just make a big air bubble as air tried to come out when I put the fluid in. So right now I have 20 milliliters of fluid that I'm putting in. And I like to get the needle near the bottom of the tank. That way when fluid enters, as fluid accumulates in the bottom, the needle's underneath the bottom. As the fluid enters, it doesn't create a lot of bubbles or foam, which makes it easier to read the dipstick when I stick it back in there. So I'm going to put another 20 in here. One day I'm going to figure out an easier way to do this, but for now I don't know what that is. Feel free to let me know in the comments if you have a better way. Alright, this 20 makes 40 milliliters. Takes a lot of pressure to push and pull this plunger. And I'll fill this up with another 20, even though I may not put it all in there. Before I do this, I'm going to take a check. Often when I take a check while filling the fluid, it shows the entire dipstick full because of the bubbles and everything in there, which is, nope, it says I'm low. So I'll put another 15 in. Or so. Still needs more. There's an indentation on the dipstick to let me know if it's low or if it's full. And when it comes to the low level, I know if I screw it all the way in, it'll be up near full. That's why I don't screw it all the way in every time. So far I've done 60 milliliters. And I got 15 here. I'll put 10 in. So I put 70 milliliters in there. Keep going. This will be 75. I pull a little 20 more. I'll put 10 in. Put 7 in. Let's check. All right, I'm seeing some near the bottom of the dipstick. So that tells me I can turn it in and start bleeding the air out of the system. So I will turn on the transmitter and the excavator after getting rid of some of this oil. This is so nice. When I did it the first time, I had my pistons fully extended when I drained and changed the fluid. And it created a problem because when I turned it back on and tried to move the arms or the bucket, they wouldn't move. There was a lot of air in the system, and as I moved things back and forth, it took about almost a minute and 20 seconds before things actually started moving. So retracting your pistons as much as possible keeps air out of the system and helps it work better. So now I'm extending the pistons as much as I can, and I'll finish topping off the fluid. One thing I noticed when I changed the fluid last time is I checked the levels before I went out to play, and after playing for about an hour, I checked the levels again, and the fluid was down quite a bit. So after changing your fluid, you may want to check it frequently for the next time or two that you play with your excavator, just to make sure the fluid's topped off. And it seems like this might be it. Now, need just a little bit more. It was within range. And there we are. It's right near the top when it's screwed all the way in. So that's how you change the fluid on a Kabolite 961 excavator if your model has a screw underneath the bottom. So if you like what you saw, click like, and I will bring you more tips later. Thank you.